Hi, this is Frank Taylor with Nature at Your Door. And today, I'm in Floyd County, Virginia, in front of Willis Grocery, and I'm looking for a Christmas tree. Today's episode is about where does your Christmas tree come from? And specifically, the Cadillac of all Christmas trees, the Fraser Fir. In this episode, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the biology and history of Fraser Fir, where it comes from, and tomorrow, we're going to go to the 5,729-foot summit of Mount Rogers, where the seeds for these trees grown in this region of Virginia come from. So stay tuned for an episode about the biology of Fraser Fir and where these trees come from, how they're grown, and why they're the Cadillac of all trees. Stay tuned. Right here in your backyard. You never know what you're going to find. So I'm here now at Grayson Highlands State Park. I'm going to be heading up Wilburn Ridge, and we're going to go to the summit of Mount Rogers, 5,729 feet, and we're going to go through some original spruce-fir forest. There are 6 pockets of this sub-alpine spruce-fir forest, and this is the northernmost pocket, which we're going to access through Grayson Highlands State Park. It's about in the 20s. It's a 9-mile round-trip hike to the summit. I appear to be the only one here on this cold winter day. So I've just come up one of the first peaks of Wilburn Ridge, and right behind me here is the highest peak of Wilburn Ridge. Well, it should have some tremendous views. Behind me is Mount Rogers, and Mount Rogers is covered in spruce and fir. Some pretty nice rock scrambles coming up here. North Carolina is to my south, and I think you can hear the wind. That's White Top Mountain in the distance, the second highest peak in Virginia. That's Mount Rogers over there, and the peaks of Wilburn Ridge. I'm at the highest point now of the Wilburn Ridge Trail, and the temperatures in the, I'd say, mid-20s, and the wind chills are probably between 0 and 10 degrees as the wind's kicking up to probably a good 20-30 mile an hour steady, and maybe some 40 mile an hour gusts here. So I'm going to stand up and I'm going to take the last few steps and show you the scenery from up here, and then we'll look across to Mount Rogers at the sub-alpine spruce-fir forest where our Fraser Fir lies. Here we are at the summit, looking across the state of Virginia. We're very near the highest point. We're over 5,000 feet right here. The wind's blowing pretty well. We'll see how my microphone sock with the wind works here. The wind, and it hits you in the face, really takes your breath away. That's White Top Mountain there in the distance, and that's the summit of Mount Rogers, and you can see it's capped in red spruce and Fraser Fir. I'm going to get down here, and my next stop will be in the spruce fir forest. So I'm following the Appalachian Trail towards Mount Rogers Spur. All of a sudden, I'm out of the wind, and it almost feels magical. It's so quiet in here. There's the amazing smell of the Fraser Firs, and I'm walking through a red spruce Fraser Fir proper forest. It just feels absolutely magical to come off that exposed windy ridge and to be here underneath the larger red spruce and Fraser Firs. So this is the original range and the original habitat of the subject of this video, the Fraser Fir. And here on the mountains, it occurs in combination with red spruce, and behind me you'll see that there's some yellow birch scattered through here, some rhododendron, and sort of a mix of trees at this point. Mount Rogers is the northernmost spruce-fir forest remaining in the Southern Appalachians. There are 6 places where spruce-fir forests occur. The other places you'll see spruce-fir forests are in the Great Smoky Mountains near the Tennessee-North Carolina border, the Black Mountains in western North Carolina, the Great Balsam Mountains in western North Carolina, and on Grandfather Mountain and on Roan Mountain. Fraser Fir is known as a high-altitude coniferous tree that occurs sometimes only above 5,000 or 5,500 feet. These trees have been declining in numbers across the Appalachians, but the Fraser Fir seems to be doing the best here on the summits of Mount Rogers. It's a combination of the balsam woolly adelgid, acid rain, climate change, air pollution, and other insect and fungal pests that might attack weakened trees by a combination of all these factors. When the balsam woolly adelgid started to attack here in Virginia, the Christmas tree growers became very concerned, and they worked with the state to produce managed seed lots of Fraser Fir trees where they preserve the genetics and the seeds produced by these trees. These seed lots now produce almost all the seeds for all the Christmas tree farms here in Virginia. The seeds are collected from cones that they get in September and October. They remove the seeds and the farmers will plant those seeds collected from here in the mountains. Fraser Fir. To identify a Fraser Fir, look for these flattened green needles. You'll see that they're dark green above and silvery below. They have erect cones when they occur. The tree is really kind of a small tree, may only be 30 to 50 feet tall at maturity. At the base, when these needles first come out, they appear to be in almost 2 rows, 2 flattened rows. And as they get older, they'll curve up. The needles themselves are soft and sort of blunt at the ends. And the tree has this amazing fragrance. I love the fragrance of the Fraser Fir. It's really something special. So what makes Fraser Fir the Cadillac of all Christmas trees? It probably gets the top prices and is probably one of the most groomed trees and the most desired and sold tree in America. But what makes the Fraser Fir the ideal Christmas tree, the Cadillac of all trees? Well, apparently the Fraser Fir is best at needle retention. You can cut this tree, you can ship this tree, and when it reaches a home and it's in that warm environment and that dry environment, it will hold its needles better and longer than any other Christmas tree. It has soft, short needles and still has a really nice bushy look to it. They have strong branches, so even the heaviest ornaments can stay hanging on them. They're easily groomed both in the field as well as at home, and keeping that pyramidal shape and a nice green effect. They have a really great color and they have this amazing aroma to them. The Fraser Fir is also great for wreaths and garlands, and its wreaths stay together and stay green and hold the needles, again, better than any other tree. All the Fraser Firs that are sold and originate here in the state of Virginia, their seeds came from here, from these remnant trees in this spruce-fir forest on the slopes of Mount Rogers. It can take 12 to 14 years before a Fraser Fir grown commercially is ready for market. The seeds are sprouted and grown in greenhouses for the first 3 years. Then they're taken from the greenhouses and planted in line rows for another 3 years. And then they'll take those trees, separate them, and they're ready to be planted in the field. and then it takes another 6 years for them to grow to be a market size. So I'm starting up the spur trail off the Appalachian Trail, and you can see I'm getting into much more mature trees. I'm still right on the edge of the open area and the spruce fir forest proper. It's absolutely magical for me, from the deciduous forest biome of the state of Virginia, to be walking here in the south in a sub-alpine spruce fir forest. The forest here has almost a primeval, prehistoric feel to it. You can see everything is covered by moss, the dead trunks, the live trees. It's really just an amazing scene, an amazing experience to experience this Fraser Fir subalpine forest. Well, I finally made the summit of Mount Rogers, 5,729 feet, and I'm standing here right on top of the geological survey marker that marks this highest point in the state of Virginia. So arguably, I'm the highest person in the state of Virginia with 2 feet on the ground. I first come here in 1979, and when I came here in 1979, this canopy was just almost completely closed up. Everything was just dripping wet, it was dark, it was moss covered. This canopy has certainly since opened up over time, and I'm hoping that this forest can recover and return to what it once was, and that very closed, dense environment. It's still been spectacular. I hope you learned some things about Fraser Fir and the ancestral home of your Christmas tree. If you get Fraser Firs, it came from one of these 6 sites. Its grandmother and grandfather were here, and certainly its ancestors if it's been brought forward from generations. Most of these Fraser Firs that are grown around the country come from these seed lots here in the Southern Appalachian Mountains. Fraser Fir, the Cadillac of Christmas trees. And here it grows in its natural environment in this subalpine spruce fir forest above 5,500 feet. Thanks for watching Nature at Your Door, and remember, if you like what I do, please subscribe to my channel and keep up with my latest and next episodes. I love hearing from my viewers. Drop me a comment and a question. I'll answer all your questions. Thanks for watching Nature at Your Door. I gotta get down from here now before it gets dark.